Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Illumineers Quest podcast, where we talk everything Lorcana, not just the highly critically acclaimed co-op version of the game. I'm Zach.
I'm Jacob.
Thanks for coming on this journey with us. Is it critically acclaimed? Is that fair to say yet? Like all of the
loved by fans.
All of the reviews I've seen have been like glowing, so I think it's fair.
Loved by all. Hero to all.
Yeah, Maui hero to all. Illumineers Quest hero to all. I guess. I don't know. Let's go with it. I just like, I feel like I still switch it up every time, and I feel like I have to say something, but maybe because it's just like kind of funny still to me.
We'll get a comment and it's like, stop it, and then we'll stop.
Yeah, probably so. But anyways, yeah, so new episode this week, and we're talking we're ranking the sets. So we're kind of like revisiting all the sets now. You know, set 4 has been out for a couple weeks now. We're starting to get a good feel for how everything is going to shake out within set 4 and what we're going to have within this set and this this meta and everything else. So we're going to kind of take a stroll back down memory lane and talk through chapter 1 through 4 and kind of see where they all stack up against each other. We talked about this in person the other day, and I think it was with your dad, and just kind of like briefly mentioned it. But yeah, I think it deserves a little bit deeper of a.
I like it. We
also have a little bit different perspectives, and so maybe we can see what everybody else thinks is the best set thus far. So. So with that said, let's jump into it. As always, everyone, thanks for the support through all of the different channels. If you want to look at where you can follow us all, I mean, all of that's down in the description below. And if you want to support the podcast, the best way to do so is with our TCG Player affiliate link, also in the description below from wherever you're listening. Okay, let's get into it. So first topic, we got to do card of the week as always. So mine this week is we were talking about this and I was like going back and forth, but it has to be the Muses. One is Hercules card, and I love all of the Emerald Hercules cards. The one downside is that it's Emerald, and you have now officially taken the Emerald mantle from me, and so I felt weird picking an Emerald one, not being an Emerald player, and it's hard to be an Emerald player when you have one Diablo and one Ursula. And so you're just kind of like locked out of Emerald at that point. But anyways, I digress. This is a fantastic card, and I think is seeing some good play and has a lot of potential and is very, very annoying and disruptive. And so for all those reasons, that's the Muses card of the week. So it's a 4 strength, or 4 ink, inkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, quests for 1, has Ward, which we mentioned in our 5 notable cards episode, that we both think Ward could see some sort of a resurgence. Bucky, John, the Muses never let Ward fully go. So
sure.
From that respect, it's a good one. And then its ability is whenever you play a song, you may return chosen character with 2 strength or less to their player's hands, which I must say is very amazing theming as well. Just throwing that out there.
Tell me how.
The Muses? They're the ones that sing in Hercules. Like, they're the ones that narrate the movie through the song.
I see what you're saying. So they have.
I thought Hercules was one of your favorite movies here, and we're like not finding the theme.
I was thinking more towards like the interaction with like returning a card to hand, but the song makes sense.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. So they get support with songs.
Yeah,
they should have. Do they have their own song? Like they have a song, right? In the game?
I don't think so. Yet? We have Zero to Hero.
So that's theirs.
But it's like they're not on the. Yeah, I mean, I guess they like all the songs they more or less sing. Like they're all part of the stuff. And
I mean, the only one is like Go the Distance. Thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that one's Hercules, but that's just because he's like finding his path at that point. But yeah, anyway, so again, we have a very themed card of set 4, which is strength, manipulation, and importance to like deal with problem characters. We've got Ice Block, what we've talked about. We've got both of the Sisus that we've talked about. Obviously, Madame Medusa is carrying over from set 3 with the strength requirement to deal with problem characters. And so I think from this, that perspective, it's important as well for the set. But again, there's a lot of lemon lime going on to like deal with characters, and Under the Sea we talked about last time as well. You've got Kita that can manipulate a lot of strength, and then if you're singing a song, this can then send something back with Kita because nothing has any strength anymore. So yeah, I think that this has a lot of synergies, and then it really helps you deal with your board state and keep your opponent at bay.
I love all the Hercules. Love this set just in general. I mean, I think it's got a lot of playable cards.
Yeah, there's a ton of Hercules, and I almost just picked, like, just as a quick rundown, in Emerald, we've got a new Zeus character, Mr. Lightning Bolts, which is kind of another interesting card, the way that his tech kind of goes. You've got the Fates from Hercules as well.
Pegasus, obviously.
You've got 2 Pegasus cards, the regular and the Floodborn, the Cloud Racer. Then you've got 2 Megara cards as well, which, again, I'm not keeping track of how many this is, but there's a ton. And then one of the Megara cards also has Ward, and I think has the potential to see a lot of play.
Pain and Panic.
You've got another Pain and Panic, which are also insane. This second time that they've like combined into like one picture with their art, which is also fun. You've got Hera in Emerald as well. The first time we're seeing her. Also has Ward. Gives characters Zeus names Ward. Again, a lot of Ward manipulation in Emerald. We've got a new Hades card. Again,
a lot of Hercules.
There's a ton of Hercules, and I'm pretty sure there's a few others and some other
Phil.
inks. But yeah, Phil. And so, but in Emerald specifically, it was a very, very Hercules heavy set. And so, again, it's one of my favorite as well. So I had to give the muses some love.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, what's on our mind? League recap. Anything going on in the world of Lorcana that you would like to talk about?
Well, I mean, we can't talk about the challenge every week, right?
No, we probably shouldn't. I mean, again, Chicago's right around the corner, but again, yeah, I mean, I think the thing to talk about that is that the big conversation will obviously happen after Chicago once we have time to digest the winners and the top cut participants and everything for this new meta. But yeah, I mean, I think the big thing to me is just watching these decks unfold and seeing the meta evolve. I will say, I feel a lot more confident in deck building now than I think I ever have.
Yeah.
I feel a lot more. I feel a lot more, capability in like spotting the synergies between different cards and different items. Some of them are very blatant and straightforward, like the Hera card that I said, like it gives all the cards named Zeus Ward. But then there are little less ones like Ice Block and Sisu and everything. What I've come to find is that I would bet most players have the ability to do it. It's just the amount of time testing.
Yes.
What I've come to realize is that the amount of time testing and tweaking, you have this broad picture, and the broad picture overall works, but there's a few little missteps along the way. And like really ironing out those few little missteps into like a really juggernaut deck takes tons and tons of time. Testing, dropping cards, dropping the copies in the amount of copies in the deck, adding new cards, testing new things out. I mean, you're talking tens of hours, on minor little problems. And so if you're trying to be like a deck master extraordinaire, then you just have to like devote tons of time to it. And to be completely honest with you, there are a lot of people out there that do a fantastic job of that already and spend the time doing it. And so for me to spend that same amount of time to probably come to the same conclusion in a lot longer amount of time just doesn't seem like it's worth my time commitment, if you will.
That's fair. That's honestly really fair. I mean, that's where I've been. So.
That's a little bit of a confidence boost, though. Like, if people are out there and, like, genuinely, like, this is a good conversation to have, too. Kind of, I mean, it's not off topic because we're talking about Lorcana, but it's not the main topic of the day. But anyways, if you're out there and you're frustrated because you're not the one that's, like, brewing all this cool new stuff or, like, able to, like, have foresight into everything that's happening, I don't think there's anybody out there that just like sees the cards and is like, oh my gosh, I have this idea, and like it goes and it happens. Like that's the thing, the biggest, I think, like light bulb in my head that went off this set, right? Like, and towards the end of last set, like nobody has that light bulb. Like there's not a light bulb that goes off and like they just see this deck list of 60 cards and it's just amazing.
I mean, there was top players saying Supergroof, LeFou, and Lumiere were going to be, some of the best cards of the set, and thus far, those three have not seen much play.
Supergroof's still there, but it's definitely not the best card like I think a lot of people potentially thought. So, yeah, I mean, the point I'm trying to make is yes, if you want to be a master deck builder or you want to be one of those people that are like on the forefront of the bleeding edge of the meta and, coming up with new things, that just takes a lot of commitment. And if that's what you want to do and that's what, excites you about the game, then absolutely, you just have to understand that that's going to take a ton of time commitment. Myself, it kind of gave me some confidence because from my perspective, it was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I'm never going to be as good as these guys because they're coming up with all this crazy stuff. But I genuinely think I could do it. I just don't have 100 hours to devote to perfecting one deck when some of these other guys that have been doing it forever can do it in 30 hours, and and then I can tweak the stuff to fit my playstyle. So I think that's kind of a epiphany that I had here relatively recently.
No, I like it. I mean, I think I came to a not as heavy of a conclusion, but a similar conclusion. I think at first you thought oh, these deck builders gods, they have this foresight that's insane. But I think they're figuring out similar to just the rest of us.
Just tweaking and trying things out and moving cards around and going new places. But I think there's potential in us all. I'll just say that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. And
that's hopeful. Thank you.
Yeah. And then I just thought I was thinking about this last night actually, and it's a cool combo that probably won't work.
Okay.
Don't think it ever will. But if it could have worked, it probably would have worked last set. But since it didn't, I don't think it ever will. But it was very intriguing to me, and so I had to bring it up to you to see your thoughts on it. So it's a two card steel combo, and whatever ink you're pairing it with, I think is up to your choice on whatever you want to do. But one of the cards is one of your favorites. And so, or one of your past favorites.
Okay.
And so, from that respect, I really wanted to get your opinion. No.
Oh, okay.
It's a beast.
Oh, okay. Which one are we talking here?
I don't know. You take a quick guess. Well, I guess I said steel, so that kind of.
Oh, is it Selfless Protector?
Selfless Protector. Oh. So, what about the combo of Beast, Selfless Protector, and Mickey Mouse Trumpeter? Because, Mickey's obviously very vulnerable to getting removed, but if any time somebody tries to target him, the damage just goes on to Selfless Protector instead. Maybe he can be alive for 2 turns to really churn some crazy stuff out. And so again, I guess for context here, for everybody that doesn't have the cards memorized in the back of their mind, I unfortunately tend to do, the Mickey Mouse Trumpeter is the 4-cost uninkable steel card, 0 strength, 1 willpower, that exerts for 2 ink to play a character for free. So you can basically pay any big bad, at any point in time that you want to, because you get to do it for 2 ink. Secondly, the Be Selfless Protector is a card that says anytime a character is damaged, that damage is taken by our beast, takes that damage.
And it's 8 willpower, right?
I had that one pulled up too, but I guess I should just read specifically how it is said so that I don't get this all mixed up. But it's 8 willpower, and it says whenever one of your characters would be dealt damage, put that damage counters on this character instead. So basically, he's just like a damage sponge.
Yes.
So, is there a world where that combo could be pulled off to some crazy Sisu action, like some Ruby Steel Sisu action, some Goof Knight in Training crazy action, Hades? I'm getting into a little too many uninkables here, but is there a world there's potential, right? There's potential.
I've always wanted him to see play.
Is it good? No. Is there potential? Maybe.
I like it.
Maybe.
I like it. I think, I mentioned a combo in the inner circle chat, and none of you mentioned anything. The Chief Bogo Prince Philip combo.
Oh, that's that's worse than the Selfless Protector Trumpeter.
Is it though? Come on. How?
I was high on that Prince Philip too. I still think there's potential for him. I still think there's potential for the damage pinging, removal, Prince Philip kind of nonsense going on with Beast Relentless. But
Bogo Philip? So if you don't know what I'm talking about here, so Chief Bogo, whenever you play a full-blown character, deal 1 damage to each opposing character.
That does it to... Okay, see, I've read that wrong. I forgot it was to each opposing character. And then that actually... Okay, I take that back. That's on, I think, the same level as... Maybe even a little bit better than my Be Selfless Protector or Mickey Trumpeter.
And then Prince Philip, when you play this character, banish all opposing damage characters.
So the question, though, is, and I'm not a rules expert like some of the people online, does the damage trigger so that everything then gets removed that same turn?
Yes.
So you play Prince Philip, the damage triggers,
then banish.
and then banish. If that's the way it works, then sure. But I would worry that since you play him and then he's played, then the damage triggers, and then his trigger doesn't happen because he's already been played.
Wouldn't that go to the effect of where you choose your triggers in the order?
I think so, yes. And again, I'm not saying you're wrong because I think there's that potential, but I also am not a rules expert, and so I don't know how all that happens. I mean, my understanding is all the triggers go into a bag, and like when all they happen, and then you resolve them in the order that you want. And so from that respect, yes, you're correct. But again, I don't know that for certain, and so I don't want to say that for sure, just because I don't know that for 100% certainty.
That's fair.
But yes, that is a very interesting one as well, I will say.
I like the combos we're coming up with. See, we can do stuff. We can make fun combos.
There's this also fun, crazy combo you may not have heard of. Yensid and Brooms. I'm really good and crazy here.
You mean the cards that it mentions on the card? Like,
oh yeah, that one.
That one?
That one.
Ooh, I like it.
There's a lot of spiciness around Broom decks these days.
Is it really?
Yeah.
All right, that's fun.
So we can come up with some fun stuff. Maybe it's not the best stuff ever, but that's where the testing comes into play. This was actually a lot better conversation. I thought I was going to derail this, but...
So there's actually these two cards that worked well together. I don't know if you've seen them at Flotsam and Jetsam.
Yeah, those are great as well.
Like, I don't know, they're kind of unnoticeable, but they have a little synergy.
Rapunzel and Pascal.
Yeah.
Anna and Elsa.
Yeah. Yeah, see? We can come up with stuff.
All right.
That was a good conversation.
Yeah, I think we tailed off really fast there at
yes,
the
we
end.
did.
But I think that the beginning of it actually was pretty good there. Okay, so ranking / discussing about kind of the memorableness, competitiveness of all of the different sets. And so I think we had a lot of the similar thoughts at the bottom of the list, but the top of the list is definitely where we disagreed.
So I'd say at the bottom of the list, we completely agree.
Yeah.
From there on out, I think we disagree.
We did disagree? Okay, well I don't remember.
Because I've changed my list around a little bit.
Okay. So I don't honestly, like, I'm still, like, I think I have where my set 4 goes.
We'll go worst to best.
Yeah, I think I still have where my set 4 goes, but I'm not, like, set in stone yet. But anyways, okay. So set or bottom of of the 4 that have currently been released, unfortunately, has to be Rise of the Floodborn, and I think everybody can agree with this.
Yeah, I mean,
for a couple reasons. One, I think everyone will agree that during that time frame, the bounce package was well underestimated in the impact that it would have. I think the ability that it had to get board control and to keep cards safe and to generate card draw off of that, and I don't even necessarily mean like you getting card draw, but you bouncing characters like your 1-drops back to then ink, gives you an additional card or resource in your hands to do. Like, so there's a lot of benefits around all that, and I don't think I would bet that they did not see it being played out the way it did. I'll just put it that way.
Yep, I agree. And then what was your second point?
The legendaries that left some to be desired. We'll put it that way.
Garbage.
That left some to be desired. We'll leave it at that.
I mean, I think to even kind of go on top of that is a majority of the inks didn't get much.
I mean, it definitely was a sapphire or an amethyst set. It was definitely like a hard amethyst set. Mm-hmm. But is that we got Hiram, which is like a top 5 card.
Hiram popsicle.
Yeah, we got like a top 5 card of the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of like anything else that's like super long lasting.
Amber got the 1-drop Cinderella. That's about and Mufasa, but that's it.
Scar. I mean, Scar and
Ruby.
Scar's seen some play.
Emerald got about nada.
Minnie Mouse, Stylus Surfer, Lady Tremaine.
Ruby got good stuff too.
Emerald got Prince John, which was like the start of the discard meta. I don't think it was fully fleshed out. You also got Bucky. I mean, there's some good stuff. I mean,
Steel got Strength and Storm.
And Cinderella Stout-Hearted.
Yes.
So there's definitely some tools, but again, I think when you look back on a set...
Tragic Hero. We didn't mention Tragic
Hero. No, I did say that...
Oh, okay.
I said that the legendaries are kind of left to be desired, and he was the one that, was at the time like the hottest commodity ever. Getting into the Medusa Ice Block domain, it's definitely not as hot a commodity as it once was, but I think like overall the amount of tools that the set has is really good. it was so overshadowed by Ruby Amethyst. So again, like if we're thinking from just like a fun standpoint, a competitive standpoint, a growth of the game standpoint, there wasn't much that really advanced the game. I mean, there was resist. The resist mechanic was added to the game in Chapter 2, which I think was fun and added a new dynamic to it. But it all got, like, everything got overshadowed by Ruby Amethyst Balance. Like, it was, and I think maybe, like, our local meta, like, exacerbated it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that 90% of big tournaments was won by Ruby Amethyst.
Yep.
And so, again, from a competitive standpoint, that's not a great, fun idea to get behind. From just a fun standpoint on, this is what you want to play. You want to go up against a variety of opponents and have fun, like trying out new things. Like, that didn't happen. And so for the casual people, I would imagine that wasn't fun either. So I think there were a lot of, it wasn't all negative. There were some positives. There were some good cards. There were some mechanics that were added that are very impactful, that will have a long-lasting impact on the game, namely Popsicle Hiram. But in general, I think the state of the game at that point was definitely the worst.
Yes, I agree.
Which sucks to say because, it's everything I have, like, looking back, has more good memories than not. But it was definitely to be desired, as I said.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's funny to call those, like, the dark days of Lorcana, but comparing it to the rest of Lorcana, that would be considered the dark days.
I would agree with that. Okay, so let's hear your third pick, and then we'll get on to mine, because it sounds like we're going to be different from here. And we can just be different, and that's fine, and we'll just go about it, but...
My third pick is set 1.
Whoa, okay. We could not be different and be good about it. I take everything I said back. We can not be good with being this different.
I mean...
Okay, try to give me some... As I always say to Tyler, if you're going to give me an argument that outrageous, you better have some real reasons to back it up.
And this is my honest opinion. It's not like a lot of the mainstay cards that we know from set 1, right, that are usable now, right, are simple.
What's wrong with simple? That makes them better in my mind. I'm not saying
it's a personal preference. I think the more, like, the cards that have more going on and more, like, intricate designs and stuff like that are more fun to play for me. The more simpler cards, like, for instance, like Monstrous Dragon, right? Like, you play it on the board, it's a big body, banishes, chosen character. It's a good card. Personal preference, it's simple.
Oh, yeah, just like board control and massive bodies are bad.
I understand. I'm not saying it's a bad set by any means. I'm just saying personal preference. I have enjoyed.
These are fighting words.
Set 3 and set 4 more.
These are fighting words.
It's just like...
Take the Chapter 1 cards out of the game and imagine how different the game is.
I understand. But take set 3 cards. Take Medusa out of the game. Like,
that's a positive, not a negative.
I mean, I think we'll agree to disagree there, but
no, that's definitely a positive. Okay, there are the way that I am ranking them, which I will say is the correct way to rank them, just to cause more controversy here, is how big of a lasting impact has that set had on the game. Be prepared. A Whole New World, Grab Your Swords, Monstrous Dragon, Rapunzel Gifted with Healing, Belle Strange but Special. Should I continue?
No, I think you can continue. I just think the meta was very simple. Each deck was running multiple vanillas.
But that's just because there was only one set.
I understand, and that's because of my preference on it. That's why it doesn't rank
I'm
higher.
not ranking Chapter 1 in a vacuum, though. Like, I'm ranking Chapter 1, like, in relation to everything else as well.
I think that's fair, but still, I think, for me, and also the enjoyment of the game perspective, it is number 3 for me.
Ariel, Singer 5. I can't remember what her subtext is. I've got to look it up real quick now, because I sound like a noob. Ariel, Spectacular Singer. is in Chapter 1. We've got Stitch Carefree Surfer in Chapter 1. You might have forgotten the enchanted promo card from Set Championships, Stitch Rockstar, Chapter 1. What about Lantern? Also still very much played at Chapter 1. Elsa, Spirit of Winter, Chapter 1.
Not played anymore.
Yes, it is.
In a very...
It's not the most meta card of all time like it was back then. Maleficent, Biding Her Time, Aggro Sensation. We've also got Friends on the Other Side, might I mention. Too simple for your liking. I'm sorry. I forgot you don't like simple cards that just draw you a bunch of cards.
I'm not...
Sudden Chill also happens to be a Chapter 1 card. My personal favorite card, who has very much fallen out of the meta, Aladdin Heroic Outlaw.
I agree with you on that one.
Maui, Hero to All. Guess what chapter he was in? Chapter 1. Mickey, Brave Little Tailor, the mascot of the entire game. Chapter 1. Be Prepared, I mentioned already. Don't need to say that one again, but I will because it's that important. We've got Hades, Infernal Schemer. Also, not as near as meta as he once was, but incredibly meta. Oh, what is this big tomato guy that everybody calls him these days, locally at least? Tomato is so shiny. Chapter 1. Should I continue, or are we done?
Whole New World, Grab Your Sword, you didn't mention those.
I did initially.
Okay.
I didn't go back through.
Okay.
Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. Didn't mention her, however.
Okay, that's a good one.
I just mentioned 30 cards that are incredibly meta and incredibly important to the game. More than any other set. Easy.
Look, I understand. I understand it. Yes, I enjoy the other two sets. They're meta, they're card. I just enjoy them more.
All right, that's fine. If you want to be wrong, I don't have any problem with letting you be wrong.
I will be wrong in your eyes, not objectively wrong.
Okay, this is definitely going to be the poll. So if you're listening at this point still, or about 3/4 of the way through the episode, there is a poll on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, please answer the poll so that we can get this resolved here, because you guys are always the one to break these ties here. Okay, so yours is set 1. Mine, this is where I have a really hard problem. I don't know what to put here. I know it's not set 1. It pains me to do it, but I'm going to say set 4.
That's fair.
Maybe that changes in a month. But the reason it pains me so much is because it seems to be a little bit more of a condensed meta. Mm-hmm. I don't care that much about that. The main reason it pains me is because set 4 is like the kickoff of like the massive Disney Lorcana. Like, to me, we've talked about this with the challenges. Like, this seems to be like the explosion point of Lorcana game into like the stratosphere. Yep. We had set championships in set 3. I mean, that really kicked off the competitive scene. That will be a time I never forget. But this is like kicking the game into the stratosphere. I love a lot of the cards. I love the art. This is by far my favorite enchanted set of cards. So like, again, like there's a lot of things that I love about the set. And so putting it this low hurts. But yeah, I mean, something has to go this low. So I'm going set 3.
That was another knock on mine, is the enchanted
or set 4. I said set 3. I'm going set 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with number 3 on our lists that happen to be different. Let's go to number 2.
All right, so I have set 4 here.
Okay, set 4.
I enjoyed, like, at this point in the game, I enjoy a lot of the combos, like we mentioned earlier with the combos. I enjoy a lot of the synergies. I think each ink combination, except for like 2 or 3, have something. I think that's a very good spot to be in the game.
I think that, that's all super fair.
And I think that it, like you said, the reason it is at number 1 is the more condensed meta. Also, we're in the very beginning stages of it. So.
Yeah, and again, that might change. I mean, maybe we should have done this further towards the end, but we had the conversation, thought it would be fun to elaborate on. But, okay, let me ask you this then. So, if Chapter 4... I don't even remember where my thought process was, because I forgot where I was going with this one. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. With the combo abilities... Oh, that I've just remembered. So the combo abilities, is that a mechanic of set 4, or is that just a byproduct of them continuously releasing a lot of cards, and now there's more cards to combo with?
No, I agree with that for sure. I think that's a very valid point to be made. I just think that there's a lot of like pieces added in that combo puzzle in set 4. A lot of good pieces.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely, continues to be that. I mean, I think the biggest example of that is, again, to me, like set 2 is so low is because we saw like some inklings of like Bucky John. We saw some like inklings of a lot of these other things that could come up, but they weren't fully fleshed out. And then I think you get to chapter 3 and a lot of that started to get fleshed out. And so I understand like you can't just release like, hey, here's like this deck that we had thought out and like all the tools for it. You kind of got to let people piece it together, and you can't release like all the good cards in one set because we know that they built a lot of these at the same time, and so you can't just like make every good card in one set and then everything else be trash. And so again, I get it makes sense, but I think a lot of those combo pieces are coming from other sets, and the way that I'm ranking it is that gives those set points versus chapter 4 getting the points for combo pieces that have come in previous sets.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have like a ranking system for this, and so we're all just kind of like.
If we do it 2 different ways, that makes it more entertaining.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
if we both have the same list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ranking it more on like remembrance and fun place, like the iconic cards that when you think about like the cards that are being played and the sets that they came from, like that's kind of. I mean, maybe we should have said that from the start, but that's kind of my criteria, I guess.
I mean, I think you can tell from your picks. So
yeah, okay, so your number 2 is set 4, which leaves your number 1 to be set 3.
Are we going into that right now?
No, just people are smart. They can
Math.
They can piece that together. That leads my set 2 to be set 3, which leads my number 1 to be set 1. But yeah, so set 3. Again, like there's so many things surrounding the game at this time. I think that like add to it. The diverse meta, by far the best we've had in a game. I've said this before. I've heard tons of people online that have tons of experience with TCG say this is one of the best metas on like any game. We had the first set championships with set 3. We had the first Disney Lorcana challenge with set 3. So like there were just so many things going on in the community and so many things growing the game. Such an incredible set. I don't like have anything. I genuinely don't have anything negative at all to say about set 3. It was fantastic.
And yet it's your number 2.
Yeah. Because I think there are more good cards in set 1. Like that's ultimately what it boils down to. Like there will be a ton of good remembrance from set 3, but since we know the order now and we're kind of getting to the fringe stages of this, yeah, set 1 has way more iconic cards. Like if you're thinking about iconic Lorcana, I don't want like cards, but also like mechanics and abilities and songs and like the whole gamut, items, like everything. Chapter 1 has it all. And I already went through that with the spiel and you giving it your 3rd rank, and so I don't need to dive into all that anymore. But yeah, my second one would be Into the Inklands. Incredible art, incredible story behind the set as well, with all the stuff leading up to Ursula's return and all of the lore that was brought to the set. You got Lucky Dime, which I've played a ton of in set 3, and so that was a lot of fun. Genuinely nothing bad to say about it. Incredible set, love everything about it. There's really nothing else to say, and I guess that leads me to pass the baton for you to talk about set 3 as your number 1 pick.
I debate. So I will say I debated on where to put set 1, but it was never the one spot. One spot was absolutely in my mind designated to set 3. Never did I consider anything else. The meta was a perfect pocket of time in Lorcana. I don't think we'll ever be able to get to that again. The first set championships was a beautiful time in Lorcana. I don't think we'll, even with the Challenger World Championships, be able to match the vibe that was going around at that time.
We'll see, but it will definitely be hard. We've said that a couple times too, but
I think and that's just not even with the cards. The cards that were added. I mean, I'll say this for my argument. The current deck I'm playing right now only runs 3 set 1 cards.
That's your deck. So
I'm saying Emerald Steel.
So Ursula, Deceiver of All. When you were running your set championship Emerald Amethyst deck, what songs were you wanting her to sing? Mother Knows Best, maybe.
Let the Storm, or yeah.
Mother Knows Best, maybe.
Yeah.
What about Sudden Chill, maybe?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Friends on the Other Side.
Friends on the Other Side, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 songs, all from chapter 1.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's interesting, huh?
Interesting times. No comment. Just interesting fact. I thought was very
interesting.
Interesting fact there. Yeah. No. Again, I think we have the same points. Like we just have a little bit different criteria. Like incredible set, incredible time, incredible lore, incredible everything about the set.
Yes.
Like they're literally like I genuinely can't think of something negative to say. Like it was that great. But yeah. So I guess that
I'll say maybe towards the worst enchanted set, if I have to say one bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, but the only reason I think you and I would say that is because it introduced non-character enchanteds, and we're definitely in the boat of we want non-character, or we don't want non-character enchanteds.
Yep.
You know, and I think that probably comes or stems from our collecting days, you know, our exclusive collecting days where, you know, you don't want a Misty trainer card, you want the Charizard.
Misty's pretty sick.
I know. I love Misty and Brock. Like nothing against them, but if I'm getting a full art Pokemon secret rare, I don't want Misty. I want Charizard. You know.
You want like the Unova gym, like location.
No. I have Bell's House and Cusco's Palace. I'm very happy that I got them. But they're my least favorite enchanteds. And not because they're bad art, not because they're bad cards, not because of any of the above. Just because I would prefer characters.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I literally got the Sorcerer's Hat. I sold that as soon as I got home.
Okay, so I guess that leads me to talk about set 1, which I've kind of already touched on. But when you look back at the game, it's the most iconic set. It has the best cards. It kicked off the game. It was the most exciting time because it kicked off the game. It has the most expensive card in the game. The enchanteds, while I think as a broad, the chapter 4 ones are really, really fun, and I love a lot of the characters. I think the set ones to me are going to always be the most iconic because they are set 1. So for like all of the just remembrance reasons and all of the amount of cards from chapter 1 that are still played today, 4 sets later, like it's just like it has had like incredible legs. You know, like I think about chapter 1 versus chapter 2, and chapter 1 is way more relevant now than chapter 2. You know, you've got the bounce package, you've got some Cinderella Stout-Hearted here and there, you've got a few of the songs like Strength of a Raging Fire and Storm Rage On here and there. But I mean, Cinderella, Ballroom Sensation here and there. I mean, there's definitely like, and again, we talked about Hiram and obviously he's crazy, but yeah, I just think the amount of impact that chapter 1 cards have is still greater than any other set.
I mean, that's not you're not wrong.
Boom roasted! Michael Scott meme.
I still full-heartedly agree with that it goes in the 3 spot, but
man, 3 hurts my soul.
I'm not trying to offend you.
I know. We can. You're not offending me. We're just having a debate here, and your opinion hurts my soul. No. I mean, obviously, this is just we did, like I said, we didn't have any criteria. We had just kind of talked about it in the passing on like what our favorite sets were, and so we felt like we should make an episode out of it, and so we did. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I would like to know what everybody else's opinions are. I mean, and I think the criteria that everybody ranks it on is going to be different, and so that's going to change things up. But yeah, to me, it's just, I mean, I'm like looking at the boxes behind you because I've still got so many chapter 1 ones that are unopened from buying them from different set championships, and like in 3 years, cracking open a set 1 box is going to feel incredible compared to cracking open a set 2 box or a set 4 box.
We just opened set 1 boxes during set championship time, and it felt nostalgic then.
Yeah, and we're not even a year later yet.
I know.
And so
I was like, it felt like opening a Gen 1 Pokemon box. It was the strangest thing.
Yeah, it definitely did. I don't know if I've said that or not on the podcast yet, but I've got a couple of chapter 1 boxes that I'm purposely not opening, and I will be doing them periodically throughout the years. Like maybe in 2 years, I open another one for nostalgia purposes.
There you go.
And then 2 years after that, open another one, and just like have that remembrance from the set in the golden days of maybe I shouldn't say golden days because we don't know what the golden days are yet, but at least like the early days of the
set 3. Golden Days.
Which, I agree with everything that you said about set 3. You agree with everything I said about set 1. We just have different criteria at what makes them better. So, tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomatoa.
Tomato, tomato, tomatoa. No, so yeah, I think that hopefully that, again, I would like to know everybody else's opinion. So again, if you're listening, especially on YouTube, plenty of ways to comment on YouTube. So please leave a comment on what your ranking is. If you're on Spotify, they have a poll, and I've added a poll to this episode that talks about what your favorite set is, and so I want to know what the majority of everybody's favorite set is. I see your face, and I know what that face means, and it means that you know that people are voting with me.
I know they're voting with you. I don't have a problem with being an outlier.
No, that's fair too. So, any final comments to close this one out? I mean,
I'm honestly glad we didn't have the same list, because that would be boring.
This definitely does make the discussion more lively, and it did give me the opportunity to go through the app's chapter 1 set and just roll off card after card, like banger card after card, just like insanely good card, and you being like, well, yeah, that's a good one too.
Banger after banger after banger. That's a wrestling reference, but
yeah, I know there's a lot of wrestling
Sheamus,
fans in the community, but that I am not one of them. I didn't even mention Maleficent, the Maleficent sorceress. 3 cost
we're done.
equal.
We're closing out here.
But yes, please vote on the poll. I would love to know everybody else's opinion on their rankings of the set and what their favorite set are. Good discussion. I thought this was a lot of fun.
This is a good one.
Even though it pains my soul that you put it that low.
Hey, we agreed on where set 2 was.
Yeah. I mean, so poll's going to be what's your favorite set, and comment is going to be what's your least favorite set, so that we can see, try to get both ends of the spectrum, because you can't do 2 polls on one episode. But yeah, we'll try to see if everybody else agrees with us on that side too. But yeah, no, this was a fun one. I like giving you a hard time, so that was a lot of fun.
That's fair.
But anyways, yeah, no, I think it's a good discussion. I think it makes us appreciate what has come too. I mean, there's been so much, and like we said, I mean, chapter 2 was our least favorite one, and quick thought about chapter 2, and it's that was a bad chapter. But then we started listening to the cards, really wasn't that bad when you think about it.
It wasn't that terrible.
Yeah, it really wasn't that bad. It was just, I think
the meta.
I think the competitive meta at that time was not healthy, and that overshadowed a lot of the other stuff. But in general, chapter 2, pretty solid.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah.
So, anyways, that's all I got to say, I think, on this one. All of them are fantastic, and it's hard to put something at the bottom. But it's been a great ride, and we'll definitely have to revisit this in a couple sets to see if everything still holds true, to if we feel the same way and where the new ones fit in. So.
Yeah, I'm sure mine will age well.
You say that, are you being serious or are you being sarcastic?
I am saying that sarcastically.
Okay, good. I'm glad that we're definitely going to revisit this in a couple months or in a couple sets and in a year or so and see how you feel about it then. But anyways, as always, everyone, thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Thanks for always being here for us, and we appreciate you all listening.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye.